your boy was playing it a little bit too long, and unfortunately now he needs to charge it. Audio sounds great. Screen sounds great. We are going to be getting into some stories that I have, and the games, all the titles, and what you can expect on this thing will of course be on screen. I did already record the footage of all of the games for you. However, do keep in mind there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of games preloaded on this thing. You do not have to do anything. It comes to you this way. So do keep that in mind. You do not have to install any of the games. They are all there. Games. We got PSP, PS1, arcade. We got all of them. All of them, bro. We got all of them. All the games. Dreamcast runs great on it. PSP runs great on it. Everything on this thing runs great. So, story time. Before I get into the story time, we need to go over the one con that I do not like about this thing. And that one con is the following. You see, when you plug this 4x3 screen into a big TV, where it's like this little box right here is supposed to be that way. The problem with this is you can of course switch this on your TV. Pretty much any TV that's out there now is going to have this option. I can't like imagine a TV that doesn't let you swap the resolution. It stretches the gameplay, and you can of course put it back to a 4x3 ratio, but the problem with that is when you go back to the menu, it is squished, because the menu actually it goes to the resolution that you are trying to use, the 16:9 aspect ratio, and it doesn't like stretch it. So when you put your TV at a 4x3 aspect ratio to make the games look proper, it's just a little bit of annoying. It's not like anything that's going to be a game changer, and I'm going to guess that most of you are going to be using it as a handheld device anyway. And to be fair, 90% of these things do not have an HDMI out. So just the fact that it has an HDMI for you to play on a TV is great. And the cool thing about modern TVs, at least for the one that I have, is they have AI built into them. And the reason that this is so cool is because these little handhelds are not computers. You can't go into a computer and like crank out the settings to 4K with this shader and this mod and this and that and this and that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that with a little handheld device. You know what I mean? So the cool thing about having a good TV is that it upscales everything for you. And it does if you have a good TV, it does everything for you. And eventually I am going to review this because it's so cool. But anyway, so story time. Let's go because that's literally the only con about this that I have. The buttons, crisp, best feeling button, just like the original one. Super crisp, awesome feeling. The most enjoyable. The block just fits it too. It just fits it. It's such a fun little handheld, bro. So anyways, so I do want to say something really quickly. Let me go ahead and, okay. So anyways, we're going to get into story time. Babysitter, my brother, I still consider him dude, he's literally a scientist at Dartmouth Hitchcock College. Super cool. He's like, I can't believe how, like, the success that he's seen. It's pretty cool to see where he is. Cause I really do. I consider him a brother, and it's really cool to see what he's done. He thinks the same thing for me with all the YouTube stuff. He thinks that's very, very cool as well. But I'm still proud of it. He really is, man. He was like my best friend growing up. He's my babysitter's son. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the story time. And I want to bring up the first one because I've still yet to find. Keep in mind, I grew up with the Super Nintendo, so we're going to be talking about a lot of Super Nintendo games throughout this portion of the video. I got another 10 minutes to speak about games because I already recorded the footage of all of the titles on this thing. So there was a spaceship game. It's not R-Type. It's not Axelay, I'm pretty sure is what the other one is. It's not Galax or Galaga, or it's not any of these. But there was this game, right, where you would be put in this arena, and it would be you and your friend, right? And so you and your friend would be in this like arena, and like one spaceship would be going, another one, and they would both be like leaving trails behind it. And if you hit the other guy's trail, your spaceship would blow up and it would be game over for you. And then, but there was like a boss there as well. So it was super challenging and it was super fun. And I've still yet to find this game. So if anybody knows this, let me know down in the comment section below. And please tell me stories for you as well, man. Because like, you know, some of us didn't have like maybe the best childhood growing up. So these memories and the nostalgia for these things, dude, that's why I like these games. Dude, I very rarely ever play the new titles that are releasing. Back in my day, games had to release good. If they didn't release good, they were just bad and you wouldn't play them. Now, 90% of the games that release are bad, and then 6 months down the road, they become good after 50 updates. But anyways, so that was one game. And then I do want to say something really cool that I do remember. This is a Nintendo, the original Nintendo. So we went to a family reunion when I want to say I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, right? And there was, we had this big tent full of stuff. Like everybody brought a bunch of stuff and it was all under this tent. And one person had brought a Nintendo, the original Nintendo. And dude, we had like 100 games in this box alongside with Nintendo. Oh my goodness. I literally bought like every ticket. I put my name. So you had to buy tickets. And then eventually, like we did like this like thing where whoever, I forget how, it was so young, dude. I remember buying. But anyways, after that, like there was somebody there that won all the money that bought all the tickets. I forget how it exactly. But I ended up winning that thing, dude. Oh my goodness, what a dream! Hundreds of games, dude. Hundreds of games. I remember. And then as time went on, I eventually like had a yard sale out front of my house, and I sold a bunch of the games and I made a bunch of money, and it was pretty cool. That was, oh my goodness, that was actually, I don't even realize that. Oh my god, that was my first step into entrepreneurship. That was my start, dude. Oh my goodness, that's so cool to realize that. Yo, that's actually really, because that's true. I literally had my games out there and I made a bunch of money. Yo, that's actually cool to but anyways, let's get back into the stories. Back to the Super Nintendo. So I remember Yoshi's Island was a really cool one. Me and my buddy Josh. So I was allowed to go up because we were really good friends, and he literally was my brother growing up. We would go upstairs. Like I was allowed upstairs. Like none of the other kids were allowed upstairs. And we would play video game. We played the Super Nintendo. He had a Sega Dreamcast, which I didn't really like the Sega Dreamcast. I was a Super Nintendo person. I really liked the Super Nintendo. And a game that we really liked playing together was Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Bros. As well, obviously. And I want you to keep this in mind. This does not, you can of course add those games to this. You can add any game that you want to this, but for reasons that I doubt I need to explain, it does not have Mario games on this. I'm sure you're fully aware of why it does not include those. All right. This is a company that is it's a company, man. It's a business, and they're a very well trusted and supported business that has supported me as a creator for a very long time. Okay. So I do want to make that clear. I forgot to mention that. So they're not paying me anything, but they did send this to me in order to make the video on this to review. So I don't charge them anything for this because they've supported me for a long time, and they've sent me a lot of these consoles. So I don't think I'll ever do that. I make more than enough at this point. But anyways, so I got off topic there and now I forgot. Oh, going upstairs. So Yoshi's Island was a good one that we used to play together. Super Mario World was another good one. The Mario Bros on the original Nintendo, which let's be honest, we all like bumped the roof and ran the first, was it the first level or I think it was the second level, right? Where you could like, there was that area where you could bump the roof and you just literally run across the top, and then you get to the end where there's like 3 tubes that you can go down, and you can literally get like 50% through the entire game within that like little run. But anyway, so we played those. Battletoads was really cool as well. That was pretty hard though. Like when I was younger, that was a hard one. A couple under the radar games that are popping into my mind right now is Congo's Caper. Basically, this was like a new Joe and Mac, pretty much, is what it was. It was like Joe and Mac 2, and then they like the developers created Congo's Caper. So it's like this caveman beat 'em up platformer, and if you get like 3 of these rubies, you level up to this like super Congo where you can like jump super high, and it's just like, it makes the game a lot more fun when you become super Congo. It's kind of like Super Mario when you get the cape. It's just more fun when you have the cape. So that was a good under the radar one. And then there was one Power Rangers game that was really good. It was it wasn't like the fighter game. It was like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. That was pretty cool. I really liked that. And I remember that like when back in my day, quote unquote, back in my day, we used to have like we used to have stores and movies where we could like go rent the video games. And I remember like, as my mom would go find her movie, me and Joe, he really was my brother, man. Like I didn't really have many friends growing up. I didn't really have like a whole lot of friends. So like, yeah, dude. So we would go to the movie theater, and it was just funny because like the back part of the video game section, had like all the mature games, like some like Mortal Kombat and all the bad games. But yeah, dude. So anyways, and we would like, my mom would go off and find her movies, and we would go back there and look at the box art and like talk about how cool it was. And like, he was allowed to get the rated M because he was older than I was. He was like 4 grades ahead of me. So like when I was in kindergarten, he was like in 3rd or 4th grade. So he was allowed to play those games. So anyways, yeah, dude. So those are in my, so let's talk about my dad now. Like, so my dad also was into games. So he would play, he really liked Super Castlevania 4 or no, Super Castlevania. That's not 4, is it? Is it Castlevania 4? Either way, it's Super Castlevania. It's not Castlevania Dracula X, or it's not Castlevania on the original Nintendo. It's just Super Castlevania for the Super Nintendo. That was a pretty cool game. It was really hard for me, so I didn't like it. Donkey Kong games were always really fun. Yeah, dude, Donkey Kong was actually really they had the Wii U version is actually really cool. The Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is probably my favorite Donkey Kong game. So there was those, and me and my mom would play Super Mario together all the time. And oh my goodness, actually, I gotta be real with you guys on this one. So I was one of those like kids that like threw the controllers like when I got really mad and couldn't beat a level or couldn't beat a loss or kept like dying and having to start over. Bro, I tell you what, man, that Super Nintendo controller was rugged. I tell you, man, like I put holes in the wall and I had to go sit in timeout for hours. Yo, it's true. That's a rugged controller. But anyways, so yeah, I really wasn't like an RPG person. I didn't really like RPGs. And I still don't. I don't really like RPGs. I can't, my attention span isn't like, and this is one of the reasons that I don't really care for newer games as well, honestly, is because like, dude, I don't want to have to sit down and play a game for 5 hours in order to get something that I actually want inside of that game. You know what I mean? So yeah, so really those are like, so some of my favorite Super Nintendo games, just like off the top of my head: Super Mario World, obviously all the Mario games are fun. Donkey Kong games are fun. Congo's Caper was a really good one. Yoshi's Island was a good one. Battletoads was a really good one. There's this, I think it's called Blob. I'm pretty sure it's just called Blob. It's like, you're just like this little like, you know the movie Flubber? The movie Flubber? It was like that. It was like, you're like this little flubber guy. I'm pretty sure it was called Blob. That's a pretty fun game. But yeah, but oh my goodness, 15 minutes already, bro. I could go on forever. So Aladdin was really, really good as well. Sega Genesis games. So to be honest, I've actually been getting more into the Sega Genesis just because they're wider. However, with that said, if you have a computer RetroArch did in fact install a 16:9 mod where you can install where and they don't all run perfectly. Some of them are a little bit buggy and glitchy and stuff, but it literally turns the 4:3 aspect ratio and it turns it into a 16:9, so you can actually play it on a full computer, or you can actually play it on a like full TV or monitor, but you do need a computer for that because it requires a lot more power. Please tell me, are you like powered on yet? No, it's still charging. I'm gonna power this off so the battery charges all the way. But anyways, man, it has all the arcade games. It has Sega Genesis, it has PSP, it's got PS1. You know what I mean? Like, I want to start doing this more often, bro, because stories are so like, I'm gonna start doing this more often. I really am. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It's an awesome handheld. It's the V2 version of the original one that I already have. You know what I mean? And Bearnick is a great company. They make a good product, and they don't. The cool thing about this is that, and to be fair, I don't even have an issue with this because, like I have said in the past, okay, you know, when let's say you get one of these consoles on Amazon that have 100,000 games on them. Yes, there's going to be like 2 or 3 versions of the same game. But like I say in the videos when I cover those, dude, some of those games are completely different titles. Like the Europe version of Aladdin, or I'm trying to think of a game. So, and either way, I think you guys get the point. Like there's European versions, and then there's American versions, and then there's Japanese versions, and some of these games are totally different. And then there's also, you know what I mean? So either way, I'm just saying that because like they don't put duplicates on these. The games on these, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of games, but you're not going to be scrolling through everything and see Castlevania, 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 and then Congo's Caper, Congo's Caper, Congo's Caper, Congo's Caper. It's going to be Castlevania, Congo's Caper, Chuck Rock. Oh my goodness, that was a weird game. You like use your belly as a weapon. There's like this fat caveman guy where you bump enemies with your belly. Chuck Rock, Congo's Caper. So I'm trying to go through the alphabet. Casper. Actually, was there a Casper game? I don't think there was. But either way, guys, let me know like if you like with some games that you grew up with that you really enjoyed having fun with. And I apologize, I didn't really get into too much story here. It's really hard because like I have all the memories floating through my mind as I'm trying to talk about it, and I'm one of those people that are just like, yo, I have this on my mind and I have to say it right now and I have to explain it all right now, and then this other thing comes into my mind, I'm like, oh, I got to explain this too, and then this next thing comes into my mind, I'm like, oh, I got to explain this too, and then this and that and this and that, and I have like a million things going through my mind and I feel like I have to explain it all, so I like so I have like these millions of things going through my mind and I never end up getting to finish it. It annoys me. But yeah, guys, highly recommend this thing. The links to everything will be down in the description below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.